So hello students, I hope all of you well. So in my last lecture, I have explained about the Newton's second law of motion, and I have explained about the different mathematical formula of the derivation and integration. Okay. So in today's class, I am going to describe about the impulse. Okay, impulse. Now, what is impulse? Okay. What is impulse? First, you have to know what is impulse. Now, for now, just see a force acting upon an object for some interval of time result in an impulse. Okay. Suppose now you consider suppose when you hit a ball with a bat, or when you hit your nail with a hammer, then what will happen? কি হ'ব যেতিয়া তোমালোকে এটা বলক বেটেৰে মাৰিবা বা হাতত যদি হাতৰে কোবাই দিয়া এইটো সময়ত কি হ'ব তোমালোকৰ what will happen? Then for some interval of time the bat will first it will vibrate, okay, or your nail will start to paining, it will pain, but যেতিয়া টাইম যাবগে লাহে লাহে প্ৰথমে কি হ'ব বিখাব বা ব্যাটটো কি হ'ব লাহে লাহে ভাইব্ৰেট হ'ব আফটাৰ সাম টাইম the pain will be little bit decrease and the vibration of the bat will be decrease. So how much the force will impact, how much time the force will impact, কিমান সময় পাৰে force to impact কৰিব, okay, that is known as the impulse. Okay, so the impulse is what? A force acting upon an object for some interval of time result in impulse. Okay, so that means a force এটা বস্তু কিবা acting কৰিছে কিমান সময় কৰি ইম্প্যাক্ট থাকিব হল এই গুটেটো কি বুলি কোৱা হয় ইম্পালস বুলি কোৱা হয় okay suppose when you hit the ball then it will the duration of the force will be very small, the time of the force is very small, and when you hit your nail the interval of time is very small, so we cannot measure the force exactly, okay, at that time we cannot measure the force exactly, so we take for this we take the average force during that impact, that's why we take the average force. Again, we can define the impulse as the impulse received during an impact is defined as the product of average force and time of which the force acts. Why we take the average force? Because the time of impact, okay, is very small. So for a small time, we cannot measure the exact force at that time. That's why we have taken the average force. Time to the force to the হাতটো কোবাম তেতিয়া কি হ'ব যে যেটো টাইম হ'ব এটাৰ পৰা যেটো এক্টৰ টাইম হ'ব টাইমটো বহুত সৰু হ'ব সৰু হোৱাৰ কাৰণে কি হ'ব আমাৰ ফোৰ্সটো এক্স্যাক্টলি যেটো ফোর্স হ'ব তাত হিট কৰিম হেতু আমি মেজাৰ কৰিব টান হ'ব হেতু কাৰণে আমি গোটেই ফোর্সটো এভারেজ ফোর্স লৈ লম ওকে এভারেজ ফোর্সটো লৈ লম সো ইম্পালস is defined as the product of this average force and time of impact কিমান সময়ৰ কাৰণে হি ইম্প্যাক্ট কৰিব ফোর্সটো হাতত we hit our nail with the hammer, then the force will act for some small amount of time. Eta আমি হাতৰে কোবাম প্ৰথমে খুব বেছি বিখাব লাহে লাহে বিকটো কমি আহিব মানে হেতে অলপ টাইমৰ কাৰণে বস্তুটো ইম্প্যাক্ট কৰিব সেই যেটো প্ৰডাক্ট অফ ফোর্সৰ the product of that average force and time is called impulse, okay, or you can say the impulse is a change in momentum also. We can say the impulse is equal to the change in momentum. Now we will prove this how impulse is equals to, we can write a change in momentum, okay. Okay, now we know, suppose we know F equals, why this sign is given? Because force is a vector quantity, okay. For vector quantity we have to give this arrow sign. Force is a vector quantity, eto kone upor ki eto vector sign dibo lagibo, okay. Now what is vector quantity? Vector quantity is the quantity which depend upon the direction and magnitude, both direction and magnitude. So force is a vector quantity, direction upor depend koribo. Now force is what we know. Force is dp by dt, rate of change of momentum. Force is equals to rate of change of momentum. Now multiply this dt in the left hand side. F into dt equals to dp. F into dt is equals to dp. Okay. Now suppose the impact at first the time is 0. Time is 0 when you hit your nail with hammer. At that time is 0. Okay, and the force impact in your nail up to time t. Okay, so when you impact your nail, suppose, or when you hit the cricket ball, suppose here the momentum of cricket ball is first, it is p1, and after time t it will become, suppose, p2. It will become p2. Now if we want to find this total momentum or total change in momentum, so what we have to do? We have to use the integration. So integrate within limit 0 to t and p1 to p2. Momentum will change from p1 to p2. At 0 time momentum কিমান আছিল? p1 আছিল, আৰু যেতিয়া টাইম t হ'ল তেতিয়া কিমান হ'ল? p2 হ'ল. ওকে, যেতিয়া আমি হাতটো কোবাইছিলো তেতিয়া টাইম 0 আছিল, আৰু এই ফোর্স কিমান সময় কাৰণে তেতিয়া momentum কিমান আছিল? p1. কিমান সময় কাৰণে এক কৰিলে? t টাইমৰ কাৰণে এক কৰিলে. আফটাৰ t টাইম momentum কিমান হ'ল? p2. এতিয়া আমি যদি টোটাল ওলাব লাগে কি কৰিব লাগিব? ইন্টিগ্ৰেট কৰিব লাগিব বস্তুটো. ওকে, নাও উইল ইন্টিগ্ৰেট দিস. So integrate limit, how much limit? 0 to t f into dt equals to, here dp is momentum, so dp will change from p1 to p2. dp momentum will change from p1 to p2. limit will be p1 to p2. time from change to 0 to t, time will be 0 to t. So force f 0 to t dt. Okay, integration dx equals to x. Remember this, integration of dx equals to x. So here dp will be equals to t and limit will be p1 to p2. Here also f t 0 to t, and it will be upper limit minus lower limit. Upper limit minus lower limit, p2 minus p1. Okay. Suppose this f, we take the f average. Okay, this force we take the average. We take the average force. Now this will be t, because t minus 0, upper limit and lower limit, it will be t equals to p2 minus p1. Okay, so what is f average into t? It is I means impulse. So impulse equals to this, it will be vector quantity. Okay, it will be vector because momentum is also vector. So p2 minus p1. That means impulse is what? Impulse is given by the change in momentum for a small interval of time. For a small interval of time, impulse is equals to change in momentum. Change in momentum at the time of force impact. So here पर की वैसे हमें f over t माने की impulse और p2 minus p1. equals to P2 minus P1. P2 মানে কি? After impact momentum and P1 to initial momentum. Okay? So impulse will give us to change the momentum. Now impulse is also vector quantity because impulse is equals to force into t. Time is a scalar quantity. Time is not dependent upon the direction, but force is what? Vector quantity. Okay, so since the force is vector quantity, so impulse also will be the vector quantity. Okay, impulse is also a vector quantity. So impulse, now we can say that the impulse received during an impact is equal to the change in moment time at the time of the impact. Impulse to impulse হল যে কিমান চেঞ্জ মোমেন্টাম হৈছে হে impulse হে টাইমৰ impulse কিমান হ'ব হে টাইমত কিমান মোমেন্টাম চেঞ্জ হৈছে okay so this is about the impulse. Now if we write the unit, what will be the unit of this impulse will be dying second. In serious unit it will be dying second, and SI system it will be Newton second. Okay, and what will be this dimensional formula? Impulse dimensional formula. Okay, transform of force into time. So for force we know M1 L1 T minus 2. This is for force, and for time T1. So it will be M1 L1 T minus 1. M1 L1 T minus 1. So this is the dimensional formula of impulse. Okay, dimensional formula of impulse. Okay, now there are various applications of impulse. For example, when we catch the ball, what will happen? The cricket player lower his hand after catching the ball. Now why he lower his hand? Because when you catch the ball, during that time you just increase the time interval. When you lower your hand, you just increase the time interval. If the time interval will increase, then what will happen? The change in momentum also increase. Okay, change in momentum also increase. If the change in momentum also increase, then the force will be less. Understand? Force from this equation, what will be the force? Okay, from this equation, what will be the force? I so F average in T. So force will be I by T. Yes or no? I by T. So when you lower your hand, that means you increase the time interval. During the cage, when you lower it, তেতিয়া তোমালোকে এটা কেজ ধৰা বলক মানে কি কৰা হাতটো অলপ পিছফালে দি দিয়া দিয়াৰ লগে কি হ'ব টাইম ইন্টাৰভেল ইনক্ৰিজ হৈ যাব হয় না টাইম ইন্টাৰভেল will be increase যদি টাইম ইন্টাৰভেল ইনক্ৰিজ হয় মানে কি হ'ব তেতিয়া হয় ফোর্সটো কইব মানে মোমেন্টামৰ যেটো হ'ব ডিউৰেচনটো বাঢ়িব হয় না এটো কাৰণে কি হ'ব এই ফোর্সটো আমি হাতৰ দুখটো কম পাম ফোর্স কম পাম the force will be less then আমি হাতৰ কি হ'ম দুখটো কম পাম that's why when we catch the cricketer catches the ball, the cricket player lower his hand. Okay. Another example is okay. Another example is you see in train bogie. Okay, there is a spring in wheel. Okay, there is a spring in wheel. What will happen in this spring? at the same like this, lower the head, the spring will increase the time interval. That means the force will decrease. That means jerk will be less. Okay, during the movement, so jerking will be less. Trainot ki thake spring কি কৰিব এটা তোমাৰ টাইম ইন্টারভেল বঢ়াই দিয়াৰ লগে লগে জাৰ্কিং কম হ'ব. Okay, so these are different application of impulse. So just there are some application, just you go through your book. Okay, now I am going to discuss about the Newton third law of motion. Newton third law of motion. So Newton third law you already got in class 9 that every action has an opposite and equal reaction. Okay, যিকোনো বস্তুৰ এটা তুমি কিবা অ্যাকশন এটা কৰা বা এটা ফোর্স দিয়া সেই বস্তুটোৱে কি তোমাৰ অপোজিট ৰিঅ্যাকশন দিব. এটো হৈছে নিউটন থাৰ্ড ল অফ মোশন. This is the Newton third law of motion. Now for example, when you fire a bullet from a gun, what will happen? The gun recoil back. The gun recoil back. That means the direction of the bullet, when you fire, the bullet goes in this direction. So this is the action. This is action. Okay, this is action. The force will be act like this, in this direction. In this direction. So when you fire, this action given exactly opposite reaction also. That's why the gun will recoil back. Gun will recoil back. Okay, that means the action will be in this direction. In this direction. A reaction will be in this direction. So since this force is the opposite of this force, that means the reaction is opposite of action. So here we can give one minus. We give one minus. This minus came because of the direction. So that means from Newton's third law we can write F equals to minus F. F equals to minus F. It is action and this reaction. Okay? Or for example, suppose in my first class I told you about the flying of bird in the sky. Why bird can fly? It is also because of the Newton's third law. Bird swing its wing. That means it gives action to the air. Okay, and the air give them opposite reaction. Air give them opposite reaction. That's why bird can fly. Okay, so this is about the Newton third law of motion. So in today's class I have discussed about the impulse, okay, and Newton third law of motion. So just go through my lecture. And in my previous class so in my previous class I have discussed about Newton's second law. So in my next class I will discuss about the Newton's second law is the real law of motion. We will prove that from Newton's second law we can derive the first law and third laws. Okay, so for today, thank you.